Cloud
Yeah.
beats.
By any means they moving, gotta go hard. Rarely getting sleep, focus making figures large. Everybody down till it's time to play a part. No time to lounge, put that lazy shit in park. By any means.
I'm going to tell my business. That is right. You heard me. I am telling my business. Today, we're going to have a conversation. I struggle with depression. You heard me correctly. I struggle with depression. If you are struggling, I want you to say it with me too as you're listening to this. I struggle with depression. And I say all of that like this to say, no longer do we have to hide in shame. No longer do we have to feel as though we're the outcast because we struggle with something. No longer do we have to feel as if we're crazy because we handle things differently. Parents, if you're a parent and you're listening to this and you have a child that's of age, I want you to answer this question for me. How many of you have a child that says they're depressed or they say they're going through depression? How many of you have a child that says that, right? Have you bothered to have a conversation with your child to see exactly what is it that makes you depressed? What feelings are you feeling that's tied to depression? Have you ever thought to look into what depression means with your child to have some kind of understanding of what they possibly could be going through? If you said yes, great job. I applaud you. I really, really applaud you for that. If you said no, my question to you is why? Why? It's time that we all get a grip on the idea that depression isn't real, because it's just as real as me and you. We have to stop this ideal of, and this is a thing that plagues us so bad in the Black community. I hear this all the time. I'm pretty sure millions of you have heard this just as well as I have. You're stuck up, you got an attitude, it ain't nothing but the devil. We gotta get out the shackles of that, because that does more of a harm than it does anything else. Because we know we're kids, we got attitudes, we can be standoffish. Yeah, the devil is real, he does what he does, but at the same time, what if there's something really wrong with your child? What if there's something really wrong with you? For those of you who may be in denial and say, hey, I'm not going through depression, no. What good will it do you to deny yourself or to deny your child the right to get help, or the right to feel like they don't have to bear that weight alone? Now, this conversation is not to bash anybody. This conversation is not to judge anybody, but this conversation is to bring awareness. This conversation is to bring awareness to an issue that has plagued us for so many years. I recently was scrolling through Instagram and I saw a picture on Instagram. You see the little memes and stuff, and it said, people are dying of depression because you would rather gossip than listen. And I thought that was so real, because it's so many people who are really going through an issue of depression, but they don't have anybody that they can confide in, or they don't have access to a resource like therapy. Because let's be real, as much as we talk about therapy on this show, and as much as everybody now talks about therapy, a lot of people don't have access, or a lot of people don't have the means to go talk to a therapist. And that's just being realistic. I feel like for us as a community, now that we're discovering mental health and we're discovering all of the aspects of mental health, and now that we're looking specifically at our own community, we should also be looking into, do we have the resources? Do we have the resources to go and get help? Or can we find the resources to go and get help? Let's look into, okay, let's have a conversation about this. How are you feeling? What's going on? Oh, okay, you don't know how to express. Okay, well, let's look into it together so that we can try to figure it out together. Because so many of our people, we're losing them left and right because of suicide. And a lot of these people, they may have had depression as one of the red flags, and we missed it because, once again, everything is the devil, or once again, that's an attitude, or once again, that is this, or that is that. We got to get out of the excuse of, oh, we didn't talk about that in my generation, or we didn't deal with that in my generation. Well, it's killing off a whole nother generation, so we might want to deal with it and talk about it. Because if we don't, then we'll be walking around with t-shirts on, or we'll be saying long live this person or long live that person. And then we're back talking about, oh, what I could have done differently, or I wish I could have saw the signs. We got to act now. We got to act now. For my listeners who are suffering, and you may be suffering in silence, you may be one that have support, you may be one that has a therapist. I want to tell you, there is no shame in what you're going through. I want to tell you, do not let anybody shame you for what you're going through. What you're going through is no different than what anybody else is going through. The fact that you're listening, and I say this every episode, and I'll say this every episode to come, the fact that you're listening to this, and the fact that you were able to get help, or even considering to get help, that makes you a survivor. That's your power. That makes you a survivor. Because you got out and you got help. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to suffer in silence. And I even want to say to our churches, to our black churches, once again, not to judge, not to offend, but to simply bring awareness to a situation. To our black churches, let's start finding these resources for these people. For our people who are going through depression, for our people who are going through even anxiety or whatever it is that they're going through, let's find the resources. Let's work together and let's find the resources. Because we can pray all day and we can say we're going to let God do. But that same book that you're preaching from says faith without works is dead. So what work are we putting behind the faith? What work are we putting in to help these people survive? What work are we putting in to stop the next suicide? What are we doing? Let's work together and find these resources. Because now we live in a world where we're learning new facts and we're learning new things, and we're all about self-care, and we're all about mental health days, and we're all about this and that. Let's not limit it to just this one thing or these couple of things. Let's actually figure it out. Let's actually learn, how can we wrestle this from a spiritual nature to a natural thing here. Let's figure it out so that we can stop our kids, we can stop our babies from suffering. Because this thing that we're going through, this isn't just a white folks thing. It's a lot of us black folks going through it. So this wasn't going to be a long episode. This wasn't going to be a episode full of anything you're used to from the other episodes. This was just to solely bring awareness to something that I definitely see still plaguing us as a community, because we got to get out of how everybody's saying on Twitter, release us from the shackles. Let's release ourselves from the shackles of thinking we got to suffer in silence. How about that? Tell a friend, tell a loved one, tell your pastor, tell whoever, but you don't have to suffer in silence. Go get some help. If you can't find help, let's figure it out together. Because there's too many of us dying way before our time. Till next time, y'all.